Hey Tubies, we're back, and this time we're on the next episode of our EV conversion. I did have a lot of videos on how I managed to replace the front of the car, and it now looks like a BMW again. I've done it too close to the wall here. So it looks like a BMW again now, and my videos were all about doing a lower half repair panel section on this car with the inner wings supports and everything, but unfortunately all the footage has got lost. In my wisdom, I tried to move some space from my cloud service storage, but I didn't realize that it would delete the stuff off the PC as well, so you live and learn. Anyway, that all footage is all gone now. I had quite a few hours footage there on the rebuilding of the front of this, but anyway, that's done now. So I want to take a break from the welding as well, because I've pretty much had enough of it for the time being. So since then, what's happened? So in previous videos for a long time, all I had was the motor sitting there coupled to the gearbox and nothing else really, because I was carrying on with the welding. I come away from that now. There's still a few bits to tidy up, but they can wait now. So I've moved my next efforts. I've refitted the inverter sandwich to this. That's mounted straight on top of the motor there. Can't see it now. Can you see it through there? Nice view there, she says. So the inverter's now bolted back on, and also I was going to go with the Thunderstruck VCU controller for the inverter, but in my wisdom, Damien Maguire's Zombieverter's moved on now. It's progressed more and more now, and I've gone ahead and bought that as well, because that can do multitude of features as well now, and also because if I don't use it for the motor control, I can still use it for other things as well. But the main thing as well is I've got the whole stack for the Leaf, and the Zombieverter will control the charging part as well, so you can control the charge all within the same unit and control the motor. And also now he's implemented regen, which he didn't want to put on for safety reasons, but I think he's released it now, so you've got the regen capability as well now, which is good. So we've got to that stage, and I still want to bolt on the charger section. If you're aware of the Leaf stuff though, it's quite a high stack, the charger section, so obviously I'm governed by the cup of tea there, and also the height. I'm going by the heights of the top of the struts. I think there should be good amount of space there, so I might just plonk that on to see. If not, I've got other options available as well that are in the pipe. So as in the title of the video now, I'm turning my efforts towards the braking system. If you know about these conversions, as you all well do, if you're following these videos, you're probably doing something similar, or you're going to thinking of doing something similar. When you lose the petrol engine, you lose the vacuum system for the braking system, which it relies on. So these servos, brake servos, are 50 years old, and they probably do need overhauling, to be honest, and to buy them and to replace them or to overhaul them is a small fortune. So I'm going to take a chance and fit. The other option is to go for an electrified system, and quite a common conversion also is the IBooster brake. So these can be found in a lot of cars like Teslas and Hondas, and also I think now in VWs, the e-Golfs have them. So it's an all-in-one unit. You've got the motor assembly and the hydraulic system there. So I'm going to have a go with this. I made previous videos, which I've also lost, about, it went a long-winded this thing about how I was going to set this up. The problem with this car is the steering column. If you can see it there, it goes down. So I've got the old trusty engine mounts out again, engine support bar, and I've just dangled the iBooster in there. Also, this iBooster is from the Model Y, I think, Tesla. This is the Gen 1 booster. There's a lot of things on the internet where people have been using variations of these, and you're getting a shuddering effect. So with these, once they're out of their native habitat, which would have been incorporated into the system's wiring of the car and everything, and the brains and everything, you can link out there's a brake pressure sensor and the ECU on this. So when you follow the instructions on the internet, you can basically, this falls back to a fail-safe mode whereby it still works. But I think people are having issues with some of these units. I don't know if the ECU or the brake pressure sensors are not picking up the right signals, but you start getting a juddering on the piston, which isn't ideal if you're driving. You don't really want things like that, playing with the braking system. But what I can see of, or what I've heard of, generally the Gen 1 Tesla units do not suffer with that. But before I make too much progress with this, and I also haven't removed these yet for obvious reasons, in case it doesn't work, I need to build the coupler system, the wiring, which links the pressure sensor there to the ECU of the brain of the unit. So what I've done, what I did, let's have a look down here. So at the moment, this is sitting, where are we? This is sitting at a good space away from the steering rack. And at the moment, I've got it suspended on chains, obviously, and it links up with the hole, which goes, that other side of this goes through to the brake pedal inside the car. So I've looked online, and you can get parts to make something up. I think I'll have to make something, an adjustable arm. Obviously it can't bolt straight up to the inside the engine bay because it's going to foul the steering rod arm. In my wisdom, in my previous videos, good job they're not there, they bore you to death, I cut, because there's no clutch on the car now, I cut the section of that out where the clutch was, and I thought maybe I could move the whole thing over, reposition it, and then double set the brake lever to bring it more or less back in the right position. But when I set it up, the brake booster was actually hitting the inverter, which isn't ideal because obviously there's still another layer to go on top of here. So I've gone back to plan A, which was use the original hole for the brake lever, and that sits quite nice in my eyes. Sits okay there, I'm happy with that. What I want to do is get the leaf charger unit DC converter back on top. I don't know if it does overhang, I can't remember now which way it overhangs. I've also got the wiring to do for I've got the loom, that's the inverter, and we've got the motor control plug down the end there. I've obviously disconnected all the pipe work. I did start running, I bought a brand new set of brake lines and I started repiping all this, but then obviously if I'm going with this system, the whole lot's got to be taken out and redone again. So at the moment I've got the crimper on order, I've got some wiring on order. This is step one. So before I commit myself to mounting that or figuring out a way of mounting it, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to build the little loom for the two sensors and the ECU, and also you've got your two power lines coming out for that, and hopefully we'll be in good standing there. So if that all works well and there's no issues with the booster pulsating, I will go ahead and start building some kind of frame. Thinking of just getting some angle iron and just making a frame that bolts up to the front inner wall there, front bulkhead. I was thinking of making something that came off the side, but then I think when you're pressing on the lever you might get some sideways movement. I don't know, and also there's nothing really to bolt to on the side of the booster because there's no fixings as such. But you've got your 4 studs on the front of that, so I can pick up, even if I pick up 3, the bottom one I may not be able to pick up because of the steering linkage, which you can just about see coming at the bottom there actually. I need to make sure that that all still lines up correctly, to be honest, so I may need to bolt the steering rack back onto there to make sure I've got adequate clearance in there. So this is part 1. Hopefully in the next part, that will be functioning, and then I can start setting up some bracketry wizardry to bolt it to the front there. Like I said, I'm just probably going to use some angle iron and just weld it together, make a frame, then hopefully I can bolt the whole thing together. So that's it. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget your tea and your 2 hammers, as always essential for an EV conversion, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for now. That's the dirty now, isn't it?